Yo, what's going on, Headliner Nation? Breaking news again as we are into the tampering period of NFL free agency. Marvin Jones leaving Detroit, heading down to a much warmer Jacksonville. That's right, Marvin Jones is going to be signing a 2-year deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars to go down there and pair up probably with Trevor Lawrence. Taking a look at the contract, 2 years, $14.5 million. 9.2 of that is going to be guaranteed. And I will say it and say it and say it, and I've been saying it for a few years now. Marvin Jones is one of the most undervalued players in the league. People just do not say enough about how good Marvin Jones has been, especially since he came to Detroit. Since coming to Detroit, he's only had one game where he's had less than 13 games played. In 2018, had a little bit of an injury-plagued season. But outside of that, in 3 of the 5 years that he was in Detroit, he scored 9 touchdowns. 2017, his best season. He had 107 targets, 61 receptions, 1,101 yards, and averaged 18 point yards per reception that year, which led the league. Last year, he actually had a career high in targets. 115 targets last year, a career high 76 receptions, and 978 yards. So even when you're talking about Marvin Jones and the span of his career and what he's done in Detroit, you just don't look at the fact that how good he's been, because 115 targets, career high, 76 receptions, career high, 978 yards, the second highest of his career, 9 touchdowns. The dude was fabulous last season, and nobody's been talking about him off season, right? They've been talking about Will Fuller. They've been talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. They've been talking about Allen Robinson. They've been talking about Kenny Golladay, his former teammate. They've been talking about Curtis Samuel. Nobody has been mentioning Marvin Jones and what dynamic he would bring to an offense, and he is going to play a big part in the Trevor Lawrence transition from college to the NFL, if in fact that is what ends up happening. So this is a great deal, I believe, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really think that this was a great move for them to bring him in. He's a little bit close to DJ Chark for me. So that's the one concern that I have, is maybe he's a little bit close to DJ Chark. They aren't necessarily different, but it might not necessarily be a bad thing either. It would have been great if they would have signed either Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith. You add one of those guys to the tight end position, and then you've got Jones and Chark. Both of these guys can stretch the field. You got Laviska Shenault. This is a guy that can go out. He can play in the slot. He can play in the backfield. He can do a lot of different things. This is going to be a spread out offense. You know, that's what Urban Meyer has run at the college level. He spreads things out, and he beats you with speed. One thing that has always been an Urban Meyer staple is speed on his offense. So it kind of does fit the scheme a little bit. He wants to spread everybody out wide, and he wants to run past you as much as possible. So the one thing that we know for whoever the quarterback is going to be, again, probably Trevor Lawrence, they're going to have some shots down the field. So if James Robinson can have what was similar to last season, you've brought in Carlos Hyde to kind of help back that up a little bit. We'll see what they end up doing in the draft outside of Trevor Lawrence. Don't forget, they have another first-round pick. So what are they going to do there as well? So they've got some things, retooling the offensive line. They've got a lot of work to do. But the one thing for certain, as this defense, even if they work on the defense, this defense isn't going to be that great this year again either. I mean, it wasn't great last season. It's not going to be that good again this year as well. The defense still needs a whole lot of work. And even if they spend a lot of draft picks on it, it's still going to need time to develop, build that chemistry, and that's just not going to happen overnight. So more than likely, Jacksonville's going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. Great. Marvin Jones is used to that, right? That's what he's been in Detroit for the last several years. They're just whipping the ball everywhere because they can't stop anybody. And it might be the same thing for Jacksonville this year. If they can't stop anybody, that's all right. That just means more potential volume for Marvin Jones and more big playability. For me personally, I think he's probably going to land right in some sort of a wide receiver 3 type of finale for fantasy football. So I think by the time the end of the season gets here, we'll probably see him right around that wide receiver 3 range. I am expecting those touchdowns maybe to just drop ever so slightly. But that volume I expect to still be about the same. I wouldn't be surprised if he still has around 100 targets, anywhere from 90 to 100 targets, probably catches around 65, 70 balls, and will probably be right in that 8 to 900 type of range for yards. What's going to make or break that wide receiver 3 status is going to be those touchdowns. And if he can get towards those 9 touchdowns that we've been accustomed to in Detroit over the last few years. So again, I like the move. It fits the Urban Meyer type scheme, what we've seen with him, spreading it out, a lot of speed, going deep with it when it calls for. We'll see what they do in the draft. Not a bad signing, though. Obviously, we would have liked to see one of the probably big names fall there. But again, people have spent way too long not talking about Marvin Jones. Is he going to go down to Jacksonville and be the true Alpha 1 now? He might. DJ Chark, I've never been a big fan of DJ Chark, to be honest with you. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. And yeah, he wasn't bad a couple of years ago, but again, it was really volume dependent. And a lot of his fantasy points only came in like 3 games. So DJ Chark has never been a guy since entering the league that's been consistent. It's been a lot of hills for him. Maybe this is something similar that we've seen to like Corey Davis. Now, I'm not saying that Marvin Jones is any A.J. Brown. But A.J. Brown comes in via the draft, and Corey Davis no longer has to be that wide receiver 1. And we see him take a step forward and perform much more consistently and much better. Maybe the same thing happens for DJ Chark. Maybe Marvin Jones can come in. He's got, a few more years of experience at savvy vet. He comes in. Teams take a look at him a little bit more often, and it's going to allow DJ Chark to hopefully be a little bit more consistent. So from that standpoint, I do like this move for DJ Chark. Now, again, I would have loved to see them invest at the tight end position. If they could have gotten Henry or Smith and not allowed both of them to go to New England, then that would have been a perfect guy kind of in the middle of the field underneath that would have really helped out. Laviska Shenault, is he going to take a step forward? Are they going to have him working out of the slot? Maybe they put him on the outside and move Chark into the slot. Maybe they mix some things around a little bit. Who knows? This offense will be creative. That's the one thing that I can guarantee you with that. So, quick breakdown on the Marvin Jones signing. Headed down to Jacksonville on a 2-year deal. Hopefully this gets the wide receiver market moving a little bit, and we hear about the big names that are still left out there pretty soon. So Headliner Nation, appreciate you jumping into this breaking news video again. My 13th video in the last 8 days, baby. I love this time of the year. How can you not be excited about it? And I've got another one, so it's going to be 14 videos in 8 days because I got to record an Andy Dalton video still for you all. And of course, there are many more free agents out there to sign. So do me a favor, for all that hard work, baby, hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button, become a part of Headliner Nation today, and let me know in the comments what you think will happen with Marvin Jones. Where does he end up at the end of the season? Are we expecting a bigger season, some consistency like we saw in Detroit? Is it going to be a letdown? Let me know in the comments below and give me your thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to get out of here because we've got more videos to record. But all of you stay safe, stay healthy, and I will for sure catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.